Hello, everybody. Good evening once more. Once more, once more. It is Treasure Tales time. And I hope everybody is doing well tonight. Let's see if we've got anybody Yeah, we've got a few people tuning in. I see Dave Barrel. Hey, Dave, how are you? Hope you're doing good. We'll see if anybody else mentions anything here. We'll say hello to everybody. And I think we got a pretty good show for you tonight. Um, we are going to have But we have four guests tonight. I think they're going to be real good guests. We're going to have a couple of ladies and a couple of gents. So we'll have Kimberly Kramer. She's an all-around hunter. Excuse me. Lives down near on the Treasure Coast, and then we'll have Crystal Genzer. She is a good hunter. She hunts dirt and the beach, and she lives down in Venice, I believe. And then we'll have Mark Hoover. Everybody knows Mark Hoover. He's got some good treasure stories to tell us. And then we'll bat and clean up tonight is Dan Graham. He's from Venice as well, and he will be going across the pond with me and the Mumbles Man uh, in a week or so. Should be a good time tonight. So let's see if anybody is tuning in here so we can say hello. I see just a Facebook user. I get the names off YouTube. I don't get the names off Facebook. So whoever that would be, hello that said hi to me. And Facebook user says hi all. That would be probably Low Tide Tim, the Mumbles Man. Sounds like he. Another Facebook users, good evening. Another one, Digging Florida with Bill Gross. Hello, hello. How are you, Bill? Good to see you. You'll be on soon. And another Facebook user, Jimmy Crossbones in the house. Hey, Jimmy, be looking for a Facebook Messenger message from Phil the Guru about the 13th. That's when you're going to be on Treasure Talk, and he needs to make sure to get up with you to find out how you want him to send the link and stuff like that. I won't be there that night because I'll be in England, but it's going to be a great show. You got Jimmy Crossbones in the house, and it's going to be really good. So, Jimmy, glad you joined us tonight. And the Digging Canuck, good evening, Treasure Peeps. Yeah, I think so. There's a bunch of treasure peeps on tonight. Digging Canuck, how are you? Glad you joined. Um, Hi, Crystal from a Facebook user. Oh, that's me, Al Audit, Facebook user. Hi, Al. Hope you didn't get tired out digging tent stakes today. You guys, I tell you what, you and Lynn dig more tent stakes than anybody I ever seen. Y'all need to have a contest or something. And Gary Kerr, how are you, Gary? Glad you joined us. And another Facebook user, howdy all. Um, Barry O'Sullivan, nice to have you with us tonight. And let's see, another Facebook user. And another one, Digger66. Sand Digger 66 is here. Glad you joined us. Hope you enjoy the show tonight. Hello from Ohio. That is probably our good friend from Ohio. And there's the Mumbles Man. He's watching on YouTube tonight. Um, and let's see, Bruce Milligan. Hey, Bruce, how are you? Glad you joined us tonight. Let's see who else is there. Dan Russo. He was a winner on Treasure Talk just the other night, and he won Captain Fizz's book, and he will be on Treasure Tales telling us some good stories here in a few weeks. Mark Friarella, glad that you made it, Mark. Hope you're doing fine. And another Facebook user, we did have a contest. Lynn found 18, so I had to find 19. You probably did too, didn't you, Al? I would bet you probably did. I just bet you did. Uh, let's see who else is here. Tom Becker. Yeah, in Ohio, Tom Becker. He's a good friend. And let's see, that's it for right now, everybody that's tuned in. We're doing something a little different tonight. I started, well, not just me. I did the initial go round of it, but Low Tide Tim, the Mumbles Man, and John David, Mr. Plays in the Dirt, is are partners with me in this, and the Blue Spades Society. Now, I think a lot of you have heard me talk about the Blue Spades Society and how it came about. So we started a group, and we got a Facebook group page called the Blue Spades Society. And what it is, it's for people that have a handicap or disabled, and you don't have to be missing a limb or, something like that. There's a lot other kinds of disabilities like that. I mean, you can have, we have somebody coming on in a couple of weeks that has to wear the insulin pump all the time, yet they get out and they detect. PTSD, that's a serious, serious disability, and maybe metal detecting, can help them with that. And now, John, Mr. Plays in the Dirt, partner in this, he's got severe COPD. He's got heart problems. He wears a pacemaker, and he's just got a very amount of problems, but it doesn't stop him. He loves metal detecting. And so he finds a way to go. He takes a rollator, and he takes his drinks, and he's got a little chair on the rollator. He can sit down if he needs to. So if there's a will, there's a way. Now, the thing we would do, we would encourage you to always check with your doctor before you begin any type of activity, physical activity such as that. So, follow your doctor's orders, definitely. But chances are he's going to say, if you can do it, do it, and do it at your own pace. I mean, you don't have to try to keep up with the Joneses or anybody like that. John doesn't. When he's with us, we were just in Daytona a week or so ago, and John was there. He limits his activity to what he feels he can do. If he gets tired, he goes and sits down, or he goes back up into the room. He doesn't overdo, but yet he is out there and he's swinging and he's finding stuff. And there are a lot of people that can. Now, for the Blue Spade Society, we would ask that, we like everybody, but we don't want everybody to join. If you're a caregiver, for instance, for somebody with a disability or a handicap or something, fine, please join us. Just apply for the membership. It's easy on Facebook. And if you are handicapped in any way, sometimes, police officers, due to stress, that's a handicap. It's a disability. There's all kinds of disabilities, and there's going to be some people on Treasure Tales, and we're going to talk about those kind of things here in the future. But it's a new group, and we're doing a mentorship. So we would like to have you join us. And so we're live streaming Treasure Tales to the Blue Spade Society tonight, as well as Treasure Talk Facebook and Treasure Talk YouTube. So let's see if we've got anybody else that came on to say hello to. We got Mark Fiorella. Oh, there's the Canuck. BC Treasure Trails. How are you doing? Glad that you joined us tonight. You need to get up with me, and you need to come on Treasure Tales. Tell us a few treasure stories. The Sod Father is in the house, John Brantley. He was going to be on a week or so ago and fell ill, so he needs to get back with me and get scheduled to be on. Digging up the Carolinas. He is here with us tonight. Lawnmower Man 219. You need to be on Treasure Tales too. So you need to get up with me and let's get you scheduled. You got a lot of good stories people want to hear. And the Guru is here. Hey, Guru. Let's see. There's a Facebook user said, hey, guys. So I wish I could see the names off Facebook, but I can't. So at any rate, And whoever that may be John David, because he's saying hello to the Mumbles man. So it could be John David. That's, so I'm glad he's here. He's feeling good, and that's a good thing. So let's see who we've got waiting in the green room here. We're waiting on a couple of people yet. So let's see if somebody else is coming on. Tom Becker from Ohio is here. Hello, Tom. And Mike Mayo. Mike, how are you? Soon we'll get you on here. Now, all you folks out there, you all got some good treasure tales. I know you do. You're out there detecting and you're swinging, and it don't have to be nothing but the beach or, it can be, a treasure tale. It can be how getting ready to go on a hunt makes you feel, your first find, how that made you feel, how it relaxes you when you're out hunting and, you forget all the stresses of the day and this and that and the other thing. That's a treasure tale. People want to hear that. You don't have to have no great big huge gold coin find or big honking diamond ring find. That's not what it's about. It's about what it does for you, your peace of mind, your family, and spending time with your friends and all that kind of stuff. So it's about how it makes you feel. And, that's what it's all about. That's what we want. So, that's a treasure tale, and people want to hear that. I want to hear it. I love listening to it. So, coming up in the future, that's kind of what we're trying to get. We're trying to get you guys to come on. If you got a YouTube channel, sure, plug your YouTube channel. You'll be on 10, 15 minutes. You see the guests tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about it and have your treasure tale, and then easy peasy lemon squeezy. So one of the big things that's coming up on Treasure Tales is in November. We're going to the Treasure Coast. We're taking Treasure Tales on the road. So I'm hosting a dinner on the 11th of November, which is Veterans Day. Or not, I don't know, maybe is it Veterans Day? Could be, maybe Veterans Day, November 11th. I get confused. But I'm hosting a dinner on the Treasure Coast that night. Terry Shannon and his wife are coming to dinner. It'll be me and Susan. It'll be Low Tide Tim, the Mumbles man, and Tina, his wife. Phil, the Guru, and Jocelyn, his wife. And Terry Shannon and his wife, and Captain Fizz, and whomever he can find to bring with him. So we're going to have a little dinner, and we'll have a cocktail hour beforehand. And so then at 8:30, I'll kick off the show. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around, and you're going to have Captain Fizz, you're going to have Terry Shannon, you'll have the Guru, you'll have Mumbles Man, possibly somebody else to be there. Everybody's going to be telling treasure stories, and we're just going to turn around and let her flicker. So that ought to be a really good night. And if it gets a little, please bear with us. We're just out to have fun. We're not trying to offend anybody or anything. So that ought to be a good time. So hopefully y'all are, be there with us. Let's see. Somebody else was here. At any rate, let's get right into the show here. So we're going to bring in this girl. She is from the Treasure Coast, Kimberly Kramer. Great hunter, as are all the guests that are here tonight. And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and she's got a couple treasure stories for us. So let's welcome tonight Kimberly Kramer. Kimberly, I don't see you. Kimberly, hello.
I'm trying.
You got your camera on? Well, let's see. Kimberly's got some dilemmas, so let's do this. Let's switch everything around. We'll bring on Crystal Genzer while Kimberly gets the camera situated and this type of thing. So we'll bring her back in a minute. So let's go and let's bring in Miss Crystal Genzer. Now this one she's a hoot. She's got some stories for us. So let's bring in Crystal. Hello, Miss Crystal. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So what's been shaking?
Oh man, I haven't gotten to get out there much lately. Just a little bit in between, but the red tide's really nasty here in Sarasota County and most of my area. But it's been fun when I have gotten out. I've gone out with some friends and met up with some new friends. So it's been a good time when I do get out there. I got another new metal detector to add to my arsenal now. So yeah, so it's been fun. So I really appreciate you inviting me on. It's very flattering. Thank you.
Well, everybody wants to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you got to say. So, basically, it's my show. Ha! So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the equipment you use and the type of hunting that you enjoy the most.
Oh man, I like any kind of hunting or find something. But I started out beach hunting, and I love it because I've been on the beaches for my whole life, ever since I was a baby, coming down here to Sarasota. And a friend of mine, Sean, I call him Young Sean. Everybody knows him as Sean Roush. I call him Young Sean because I have another friend who's been a great mentor to me that's a little older than Young Sean. So I differentiate the two by Young and Old Sean. Anyway, so Young Sean actually helped me out, and met him through my niece moving furniture for me. And I started seeing all this amazing stuff that he was finding on his Facebook feed. And I was like, this is really awesome. I want to check this out. So I started talking to him, and I was like, man, I wanted to do something different. I'd been doing hang gliding and saw way too many accidents and things happen, and just was thinking, I don't know if I really want to end up with a broken bone, because I've seen a lot of people have issues with that. So I sold my hang glider and bought an Excalibur, and I wanted to start out with something that I knew I could count on. And it was hard. I had to learn by ear and had to do a lot of ear training. But it was great. I loved it. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I went out. I didn't really find much. And I was getting kind of frustrated. And then I started joining some of the groups. And I met this guy. This is Sean Alexander. And he was my first mentor. And he helped teach me how to use my Excalibur and how to have good beach hunting technique and how to read the beach. So Sean really hooked me up, and yeah, I call him Old Sean. But he's seasoned Sean. Anyway, so he taught me a lot, and that picture is really cool because that's like months later that we both met up down south, and we both found rings that day. So that was exciting. And one of the most this was my second water lesson here. These two guys, I don't know who they are.
A couple of renegades, if you ask me.
These two guys here took me under their wing, and I met up with them, and we went out to the beach, and they taught me how to do some water hunting techniques in the water, which was super cool. And we were out there one day, and they weren't having any luck at all, but they walked right over a ring, and happened to be my second ring that I found. I was right behind them. But that was also a cool day because a dolphin swam up to me and splashed up right next to me. It was really cool. That was Jeff and Low Tide Tim. And then these guys here, or this guy next to me that you'll see tonight, he's going to be on there. Whoops, there you go. That's Dan Graham.
I know those other guys too.
Yeah. There's there's Low Tide Tim and John. And there's Jeff. Yep. That was at FH7. That was my first dirt hunt. And Dan took me under his wing and taught me how to dirt hunt locally down here in Venice. So we've been out a bunch of times dirt hunting together. Not recently. I miss Dan. Our schedules just haven't, meshed up good. But it was great. And he saved my butt because I left my pen pointer at home. So he let me use his pen pointer. And it was a great time. I always find cool stuff in the dirt. I found a Cub Scout neckerchief that was really cool. It was one of the wolf ones. That was the best thing I found dirt digging so far. But I haven't gotten out as much as I'd like. I think I'm more of a beach hunter. It's exciting. I love it. One of the best stories I have, though, besides a recovery of a ring, it was just kind of impromptu. That was really cool. Was this guy here. Now, this is my buddy, Dave. And if you look in his hands, he's got two hands full of quarters. So this particular day, I met up with Dave, and we were hunting in the water and hunting all day, just kind of finding odds and ends. And I actually had an interview on the beach. Like somebody called me and I had a telephone interview, so I had to get out of the water. So when I went to get back in the water, I was looking for Dave, and he's standing over there waving at me and telling me to come over. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Thought he found a ring, he's going to show me the ring. Well, I got in the water and he's like, will you help me dig these quarters? I just keep digging quarters. And I'm like, what? So I look, and it's like everywhere my metal detector went around his area, there was just like quarters everywhere. And it just kept going off. And, if any of you use Excalibur, it sounds really awesome. I love the sound of a quarter. So he had his Knox and I had my Excalibur, and we were just digging quarters for like 2 hours straight. And
time to go to the Dairy Queen.
I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but it's like I was just laughing and digging the whole time. And like some of my scoops I'd pull up would have like 4 and 5 quarters in them. I was just like, oh my God, like this is definitely awesome. And it was like a once in a lifetime thing to just sit there digging quarters all day. And this is what I ended up with, was all these quarters and a little pocket knife. That was really cool. I think I had around $14 worth. This was like the first half that I found. Doesn't look like much there, but I went back out after he left. He's like, go for it. So I went all the way back out there. I'm still new. So I was proud of myself. I was able to go back and find that quarter hole, and I stayed there till almost dark digging quarters. So that was pretty cool.
You had a good time.
Yeah, that's what they've got. So yeah, they were there a while. They were black and real crusty. And I've never cleaned them. I kept them separate from the rest of my coin find collection. So it was really fun. I was just grinning from ear to ear and laughing, all the digging. It was fun. Don't know if we'll ever have that. I think, Dave said, this is a once in a lifetime moment. Enjoy it. And I believe it. I don't know if I'll ever find a coin spill like that again. It was so awesome.
It does get that way. I will tell you, sometimes you have just a really fantastic day and you have fun. And that's what it's all about, having fun.
Yeah.
Being out there, meeting people. You see now, Crystal, you didn't think you had anything to offer. And that's some fantastic treasure tales. Because everybody out here watching can identify with that because they've had those kind of days. And, and that kind of day, it could be somebody finding their first silver coin or finding their first Wheatie. That's what it's all about. It's how it makes you feel. And anybody that knows anything can take a look at your face and see the way you're beaming that you are into it big time.
I love it. These guys also, this is another group of buddies that I like to hang out with. This was a lot of fun. Every time I get together with these guys here, we have a blast. So lots
of good people.
Yeah, lots of good folks. I have to say, I've had a lot of really good people take me under their wings and teach me a lot. I learned something from everybody. And I'm always open to learning different techniques and going out and meeting up with other people and seeing how they do things. And, I like to hunt with other people. I don't mind. I actually enjoy the company. And I think it's also safer, just in case a shark does get me. Somebody can call 911 for me. But
I never worry about that.
I'm not. I don't know.
He'd put his mouth on me and he'd say, "Ew, that's sour." I'd spit me out. So I'd be good. Well, Crystal, I tell you what, I am so happy you stopped by tonight and to brighten everybody's day with your treasure stories.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It was fun. I haven't found much yet. I've only found let's see, I guess 13 rings at this point. And the 13th ring was a ring recovery for this guy. I found his ring right when I was about to leave the beach. His wife ran up and begged me to help find it. And I went out in my third pass. I found it. So that was exciting.
Yep, it can be exciting, and you did a good deed.
Yep. So if I can get out there more, it's hard to work and make a living, but if I can get out there more.
You gotta make a living. But you'll find the time to get out there. So I'm awful glad that you stopped by to share with us tonight, as is everybody that's viewing. I think you made a lot of new friends tonight that possibly you didn't know you had. So we thank you, Crystal, for stopping by. And I'm so happy to see you, and we will see you soon.
All right. Thanks. We'll see y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was some good treasure tales, wasn't it? I mean, that girl is into it. She likes to, she loves to hunt. She loves to find stuff. And so she really gets into it. So I think what we have now, we have Kimberly that's got everything straightened out. Sometimes with this live streaming, it's kind of odd sometimes. So let's go ahead and let's bring on Kimberly Kramer right now. Hello, Kimberly. I think we got everything figured out now, don't we?
I didn't have the camera on when I first opened the app. So.
Oh, well, it happens in the best of families. What can I tell you? So you doing good tonight?
I'm doing good. I haven't been out a lot in the past couple of weeks. I went out last weekend, but I'm going to Texas and Oklahoma in about 10 days. And I'll be doing a lot of metal detecting in that area. I'm actually going to take my mom to a 55th high school class reunion. And she's going to be doing her thing, and I'm going to be doing mine.
Well, that's because you're a little young to be going to no 55th reunion.
Oh, yeah. A little young.
You're a lot young. So why don't you go ahead and you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, the type of hunting you like to do, the equipment you use, and a couple treasure stories.
So I always had an interest in metal detecting, like probably the majority of my life, but I never bought a machine. We moved to the Treasure Coast, and I used to do a lot of beach combing for sea glass and stuff like that. But I would always see people out there hunting treasure with their metal detectors, and I was like, I really want a metal detector. So my mom ended up buying me an Equinox 800 for my birthday last year, which was just over a year ago. And I thought I would do beach detecting because that's what everybody here does. Mm-hmm. I didn't enjoy beach detecting. It wasn't my thing. So I went to Florida Hunt 7, was the first time I ever went to any kind of metal detecting event. And I met a lot of great people there. One of those people being Park Rat Pat, who happens to live like 6 blocks from me. So we ended up being like hunting buddies, whatever. And he takes me on a lot of great permissions that he's had around this area for a long time. And I started finding really cool relics. And I've found that that's really what I enjoy is relic hunting. So my very first ever find on my own that really gave me the fever was this tiny, I don't know if you can see it, tiny cap gun.
That's cool.
A little cap gun here. There we go.
That's really cool. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. And so, but I recently maybe about a month ago, found my first ever silver quarters, 2 of them together in the same hole. And that same weekend, I found 3 little transit tokens. I don't, my camera's not that great, so you might not be able to see these, but they're little bus tokens. And they say South Carolina Electric and Gas Company, good for one fare on them. I really like tokens. I hope I find a lot more in my future. And I just really enjoy it. I'll go out digging anytime. Lately, it's been so hot that yeah, I don't stay out long, but
Yeah, it's a little warm to hunt. And, down there in your area, you come a little bit more inland, a little north. I'm sure Park Rat Pat can help you there. When they used to do the turpentining, the turpentine camps, a lot of those people were paid in company script. Tokens for the company store. So you never know what you might find in that regard as well.
yeah, that would be fun. Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to find some good stuff in Oklahoma. It's an old area where we're from and where my mom is from, and where I'm from in Texas is where we're going to be for the first half of the trip. And I know a lot of people there, and I've already lined up some pretty good permissions. A 1925 house, a 1940 farmhouse, a hospital that was built in 1901. So
Ooh.
I'll be hunting all of that when I'm in that area. So potential to find some pretty good stuff.
Oh yeah, I think you'll find a lot of good stuff. Now, what you've got? You said you have an Equinox 800.
Equinox 800. And actually, recently I just purchased a second detector as a backup, and I shipped it to Texas so that my brother can use it while we're there. It's a
Let's hope you don't mess
simplex.
it up.
Yeah, well, it's not open yet. It's at my mother-in-law's house, and when I get there, I'll assemble it so my brother can use it. And it's a simplex plus, but so I'll have a backup machine
That's a
and
great
a spare
detector.
machine for when
Very
people
good
come to
detector.
visit.
Very good detector. You may find that you like that one. Uh, you know, um, but what coils do you use? Do you have a variety of coils for your?
On my Equinox, I have the stock coil, which is normally what I use, but I did recently purchase the 6-inch coil. I
Mhm.
wanted the new one that came out that is the 10 by 5 that came out from Coil Tech, but it's
Mhm.
really hard to find. But I wanted a smaller coil, so I went ahead and got the 6-inch.
Call Phil and see what you can come up with. He might be able to work some magic.
Yeah, I wanted to get one before we went on the trip, so I went ahead and got the 6-inch, but I will eventually get the 10 by 5.
Yeah, well, the 6-inch will do good if you get in some trashy areas over there. That'll work out real well.
And then
So,
on the Simplex package that I purchased, it actually came with 2 different size coils. So I haven't
mhm.
seen them yet, but that'll be good too.
Yeah, that'd be great. It sounds like you've got a lot of good stuff lined up. Um, and what's your favorite kind of thing to find other than guns?
Yeah, I like coins. Any old coin. Well, this is probably one of my favorite finds also. It's a lapel pin,
Oh, that's
US
cute.
military.
That's very cool. There are a lot of people hunt for years and years and years and never find one of those.
And then I have this little sterling silver piece here. It's actually a piece of it's a baby rattle that went on the opposite side of a teething ring, but it's sterling silver. Found that
Oh,
the same day as I found the 2 silver quarters, about 2 feet from where the 2 silver quarters were in the hole together. This was about 2 feet away. So 3 pieces of silver, and I didn't even barely move.
well, I guess that kid wasn't born with a silver spoon. He had a silver pacifier or
He
silver
did.
tutoring one. So I guess they were doing okay.
Yeah, right.
It's really strange. But that's an odd find, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually that property, Pat has had that property permission for like 3 years, and many of them have hunted that. So when they say something is hunted out, it really never is, because like they said they had been over that same area that I found those quarters in and that
Hmm.
little rattle piece many times. It was just luck of the day.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just the way you go across something,
Yeah.
and just happen to hit it right. So that's very cool. I like that. Very cool. Well, let's see. So what else has been going on?
Not much working, not retired, unfortunately, although I do look forward to that day when I can metal
Well,
detect much more often.
yeah, but the thing of it is, if you're staying down on the Treasure Coast in the summertime, when it's 95 to 100 degrees, you're not going to go to do too much
No, it's
digging.
brutal. This
It's
month has been brutal.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. So let's see here. Okay. So you got your trip planned out to Texas.
I also
Uh,
have another trip planned in October to Digstock.
I knew
Yes,
you had something.
Digstock 21, upstate New York. Uh, I pulled the trigger. I was like, I'm going to go with something I've never been north of North Carolina. So uh, it's going to be an experience for me. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that this whole COVID thing doesn't affect it. But
Well, it may not. If you're flying, you're going to have to get your tests and all that kind of good stuff.
yeah,
And you know, we getting our tests for England. We're going in another week, and so it's just stuff that you have to deal with. And you'll find a way around it. And the good thing about it is, after you've been out there, you get to dig stock. There's a lot of really cool stuff to find there. You're going to meet a lot of great people, some really fantastic people, and from all over the country and all over the world, possibly, because they
yeah.
fly from all over for that. And it's going to be cool up there. You're not going to have to worry about that. And I
Well, I'm
think you
looking
just
forward to that.
I think you just have
Looking
a great
forward to the cool weather for sure.
so it will be good. It will be good.
Well,
So
hopefully after the two trips, maybe I can come back on Treasure Tales with some great finds. I don't know.
yeah, anytime you just let me know, Kimberly. You're always welcome here, as is any of these people that are watching, because this is what it's all about. That smile on your face when you find something or you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about going on a hunt. That's what it's all about. It bar none. That's what it's all about. How it makes you feel, and the friends that you make, and all that kind of good stuff. That's what we like to see.
yeah. I enjoy it very much. I've met a lot of great people metal detecting, and it's really a great hobby. So
Well, that is fantastic. So I want to thank you ever so much for stopping by tonight. And because I know you were nervous, as a
I
lot of
was
people out
nervous.
there are nervous, but like I told you, I said it's going to be like me and you chit chatting,
Yeah,
you know, and everybody out there really has an interest in everything that you have to say. So don't ever think because I hadn't found a gold coin or a big old honking ring that I hadn't found anything of any importance, because you have.
yeah.
You have.
Someday I
You
will
found
though, because I don't
friends.
plan on giving up.
Well, maybe you'll never find a gold ring, but who cares? You may find something cooler, like that lapel pin you've got. There's an awful lot of people been hunting for years and years and years, and they don't have one of those. So that's a very good find.
I
So
like
you
it.
keep knocking it out of the park.
I will. Thanks for having me
All right,
on. I appreciate it.
all right. Thanks, Kimberly. We'll talk at you soon.
Okay. Have a good
Bye
night.
bye.
Bye.
So let's see what happened. Where we got here. Da, da, da. There we go. Yeah, this thing's strange. So now y'all are in for a real treat. We got Mark Hoover on. Now, he's an award winning writer. He's a very accomplished hunter. He supports the hobby of metal detecting whenever and however he can. He's got lots of friends all around the world in the world of metal detecting, and we know for certain he's got a lot of cool stories. So let's bring on Mark Hoover. Hello, Mr. Hoover. How are you?
Hey Jeff,
How you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, sure can.
I'm doing
Everything's
well.
looking good. Looking good. You're down there near Orlando, I believe, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm actually in Altamont Springs, which
Mm-hmm.
is
My
near
brother-in-law
Orlando.
lives there.
So,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, so
So,
we're a little closer to the East Coast.
mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those of these people who may not know you, and there's probably only going to be maybe one, and he's probably over in, Iceland or someplace. Tell everybody a little bit about you, the type of hunting you do, and that kind of thing.
Sure. So I've really only been hunting seriously or metal detecting now for about 5 years. My wife said, Mark, you need to get a hobby. So I started golfing on Sunday and metal detecting on Saturday. And eventually I enjoyed metal detecting so much that I just stopped golfing altogether. I couldn't golf anyway, so I started metal detecting. But yeah, I've been doing it about 5 years. My motto is have adventure, will travel. I've traveled all over the U.S. I've hunted in the West, Northeast. I've never been to Alaska. I'm hoping to go next year. But I consider my best treasures the people that I've met along the way and the friends we've made. By far, those are the best treasures. And I
Right.
loved hearing Crystal and Kimberly talk about a little bit about Florida Hunt 7. When we go to places like that, we make new friends. And Dan was there as well. And I know you were there.
Yeah.
So I know we're all looking forward to Florida Hunt 8. But in terms of real treasure, for me, that's the real treasure, the friendships we make in the hobby. My wife goes with me on a lot of these. She doesn't detect, but she loves meeting everybody and supporting the hobby and everybody in the hobby. So we kind of do that together when we can.
Well, you have a kind of a special little detecting partner, don't you?
I'm not sure what you're talking about particularly, but I solo. My granddaughter hunts with me,
That's the one.
and her little brother Liam also hunts when he can. So, but yeah, we were. I was joking earlier. They love digging holes, and when we were at Florida Hunt, I'm going to try to get this right. Florida Hunt 4. They followed Dwight Cologne, New Age Goonies, and that group, Michael Boyles. She followed them around, and every time they got a signal, she wanted to dig their hole. So we were talking about starting a new group called Rented Diggers for all the kids that want to dig the holes.
Boy, that's the truth. They'd be busy.
Yeah, you just rent one of these kids, and you can't get down. It's okay. You find the target, and they'll dig the hole for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, I use an Equinox 800 mostly. I just got the Coiltech 10x5 coil. I actually found my oldest U.S. coin 2 or 3 days after I got that coil. It was a 1853 seated Liberty half dime, and I found it in a orange grove down in a little further south Florida. But that Coiltech coil, I know you guys have had the Coiltech guy. I think it's Trevor from Coiltech.
Yep.
That's a killer coil. I tell you, that whole group of coils is really good, and they can't make them fast enough for the Equinoxes. You know.
No, they can. I think they got kind of, caught by surprise, if you will. But they're selling so fast that Phil can't keep them in stock. His distributor can't keep them in, and Trevor can't hardly make them fast enough, because they want to. And Coiltech's the type, they're not going to put anything out that's half baked. It's going to be fully baked.
Right.
There will be a few dilemmas with any product, and you go that much, it's going to have a couple dilemmas. But overall, the quality of the build on the Coiltech coils is pretty good, and they do work very well.
Right.
So,
Well, I use the Equinox. Actually, a funny quick story on that is I actually won that Equinox before the Equinox was even released, and the Michigan Metal Detecting Club was selling raffle tickets to help somebody out who was on hard times, and I was on their group, so I wanted to help somebody out. So I bought a raffle ticket, $10 raffle ticket, and they were promoting this new detector that was coming out called the MindLab Equinox 800, and whoever got picked was going to get it whenever they started shipping. And I won the detector, and they called me. I was actually up in Ohio digging up there when they called me, and I was, anyway, so that's how I got my detector. And then in June, or no, I'm sorry, back in April, I was at the Garrett hunt out in Texas, and I really wanted a Garrett Apex detector.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of other Garretts, but because it's got the multi-flex technology, I wanted to see if I could, use it as a backup on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I won one of those out at the Garrett hunt. So
I
I
think I
won
saw pictures of that. Yeah.
a few detectors, but you probably want to hear a couple of stories about treasure hunting. I don't have a lot of personal. I've got a couple that I want to share, but I guess for me, I collect treasure stories. And
Mm-hmm.
as you know, I wrote the story about Jimmy Crossbones, who's going to be on your show on September 13th.
Yeah.
And we've shared that story a couple of times, but I would just say that it was an absolute pleasure to work with Jim and his wife, Linda, and to be able to write the story. They gave me the opportunity to write the story, and I submitted it to American Digger magazine. And as you mentioned earlier, it won the award for the last year for the Freelance Writers Award for that story. And I can't wait until Jim comes on and shares it with everybody. So I won't talk about it tonight other than just promoting it. I hope everybody joins on September 13th because this is an incredible treasure story. And I'm hoping everybody gets to hear it if they haven't already read about it. But a couple of things. So I was with Jim a couple of years ago. We're in the same club, Central Florida Metal Detecting Club, and we went up to Virginia. And I had been in Ohio helping with some archaeological stuff previously. We didn't get to keep anything. So this was my first Civil War hunt ever. And by the
Mm-hmm.
way, I like both. I like relic hunting. I like beach hunting. This is my first Civil War hunt, and I was with Jim and a couple of other people. And we went to one area away from everybody else. And within a few minutes, it became clear to us that somebody had already been hunting this area. And there were footprints everywhere. We weren't getting any targets, anything. So we all got in our cars to go back to the main area. And as I was driving off, this guy came running up. He was just huffing and puffing. He says, hey, my buddies all left me. Can you give me a ride back? And I said, sure, I'll give you a ride back, no problem. And so we were riding back. It was only like 5 minutes back to the main area. And we introduced ourselves, and I told him, I said, this is my first Civil War hunt. And he said, really? I want you to stop your car right here. I'm going to show you some things. And he said, and we were in the driveway of the farm we were hunting on. And he said, way out over there, you're going to see a bunch of people out in the woods over there. You go way out over that hill over there. There's a bunch of people over there. He said, you see that barn right in front of you? I said, yeah. He said, I want you to go to that barn. I want you to start hunting there. There's nobody there. All right. And so anyway, he said, I'm going to go off this way, but I want you to go up there. So me and another guy that was also a friend of Jim's went up there. We were about 50 yards apart. My very first target, I got a clump of a lump of clay. I can't say it. A lump of clay, and I pulled it up, and I was kind of rubbing it off, and I said, I called a guy on the radio, and I said, you know what? I think I got something. He said, well, what do you got? And I said, well, there's an S on it. He said, no way. He said, flip it over on the back and tell me what you see. I said, well, there's these two little hooks on the back of it. And he dropped everything and just started sprinting across the field. And so as we cleaned it up a little bit more, this is what it was. Can you see that there?
Yeah, we
It's in
can.
kind of rough shape, but it's a U.S. belt buckle. And so anyway, I can probably get it restored sometime. Let me pull it back. There we go.
Yeah,
Get
that's
it
good.
restored sometime. But anyway, that's my first ever Civil War target, fine, recovery, whatever you want to call it. And so sometimes it's better to be lucky than, good. And I was very lucky on that particular one.
That's a great find. And and the thing of it is, after you find something like that, your first Civil War target, it kind of goes downhill after
Well,
that. Right?
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know. And then I had people walking up to me and saying, "Hey, we heard you found a belt plate." And guys said, "Hey, look, Mark, I've been hunting 30, 40 years and I've never found one. I found lots of bullets and everything else, but I've never found a belt plate." And the other story I was going to share with you tonight, and I don't want to take up all your time, but this is a really good story. I think you'll really enjoy this one. I know a lot of people do ring finds. I know you do ring finds. Phil does ring finds. And I did one last year. I was really proud of. I found a few, but this is a story that's not mine. I'm going to share it for somebody else. I actually was able to hunt on a property up in Ohio, and it's called the area is called the Blue Rock Township. And I think we have some people on here from Ohio, and this is Muskegon County, Ohio. There's a piece of property there where there was a house that was built in 1870, and the generations of families have continued to hold on to that property for the last 100 plus years, 150 years. So it's the same relatives of the people who originally founded the property. So they took the original house and they moved it to the Ohio State Fairgrounds. So it was preserved and they moved it there, but they still own the property. And in about 50 years ago, they built their new home. And the guy who owned it was newly married, and they were laying the foundation, and they built the new home. Well, fast forward a little bit. A couple of years ago, I went up there to hunt on that property with a couple of other people from Florida, with a gentleman named Bill Marsh. His name is Ohio Relic Hunter online, and found some really nice relics up there. And he started telling me this story that he and a friend of his went out to hunt on this property, and they got there and there was a big group of people, probably around 75 or 80 people on the farm, which was really unusual. So they went up there and talked to their friend who gave them the permission, and he said, "Oh yeah, this is my uncle's 50th wedding anniversary today, and we're celebrating his 50th anniversary." And they said, "Well, we'll leave then. We don't want to." He said, "No, no, no. You guys go metal detect. You're not going to bother us. We're going to celebrate his 50th anniversary." So they went off and started digging. And Bill's buddy was digging around a burn pile. He had an A2 Pro and he got a 52 signal. Started digging in and said, "Bill, you're not going to believe this. I found a gold ring." So they went back to the family to say, "Hey, we're digging out here and this ring probably belongs to somebody. It's a wedding band." And they showed it to them and they were just flabbergasted. They said, "You're not going to believe this. That belongs to the man who's my uncle, who we're celebrating his 50th wedding anniversary today. He lost that 50 years ago when they were building the house."
Oh my goodness.
So they 50 years that ring had been lost, and they found it on the anniversary of his wedding. And when they gave it to him, he was crying and just tears coming down his face.
I bet.
Said he had thought about that ring every year for 50 years, and then it finally got back to him.
Well, that is absolutely one of the coolest things I've ever heard. And that, I mean, y'all just had to be beaming your
Yeah, I
feelings.
thought that was a great story. So
Yeah,
I
that is a
thought I'd
great
share that
story.
one.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. That is so cool. Uh, that is a good one. So things like that do happen. In this hobby. So, a lot of other people, they think that they don't have anything to say, Mark, but they do. And everybody has a story. It's just like you said, it's about the people that you meet and the good times that you've had. Like with Kimberly, she didn't want to come on because she didn't think she had anything to share with anybody. But as you saw, she's got that lapel pin. And there are a lot of people who never found a lapel pin like that. So that's a really good find as well. So, uh, it's about the thrill of the victory, I think, more than
Well, and
anything.
there's lots of stories, and I've seen Crystal and Kimberly online, and I look forward to meeting them at Florida Hunt 8 because I know we're all planning on going back. And you're right. I mean, we all have experiences and stories, and everybody's got something to share. And it doesn't matter whether you started, 2 months ago or whether you started 20 years ago. Everybody's got a story to tell. And so I love hearing everybody else's story. And I guess the last thing I'll share with you relative to the treasure hunting is as I've been collecting these stories, I've actually had people reach out to me after the article came out. And what I discovered is some of the best treasure stories may never be told because
Yeah,
people don't want them to be told. And that's a real shame. But I understand where they're coming from. They've made a significant recovery, and they just, for whatever reason, they don't want to share that with the world or the
yeah,
government or whatever the case may be. But I can tell you, there's some amazing recoveries that have happened, and you know that too. In those
yeah.
stories, they just don't want to tell them.
That's for sure. But I am so happy that you agreed to come on tonight and tell us these stories, Mark. It's made the evening for sure.
Well, thank you for that. I look forward to hearing Dan's story too.
Dan's got some stories. Now there's some provisos in there with Dan. He knows I'm kidding. So, Mark, I want to thank you so much for stopping in with us tonight. Everybody surely enjoyed your stories, and I want everybody out there to subscribe to American Digger magazine, and so you can read the stories in there. They're very good. Read Mark's story about Jimmy Crossbones. And Jimmy Crossbones will be here with us. Well, I won't be here on the 13th, but Phil will take care of that. I'm going to be on the plane going to England. So good
Have a
luck.
great time.
I hope I will. I hope I find some good stuff and have a few tales to tell myself and not pub tales.
Tell
So,
both.
Mark, thanks so much for stopping by, and be blessed and happy hunting and dig deeper.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, we got one more for tonight. We saved Mr. DG for cleanup. And let's bring him on right now. I know if he's still awake, he may be asleep by this point. He's been in the green room a long time. It's a good thing, I guess, we're not serving drinks in the green room. We'd never get anybody on. But here's Dan Graham.
How you doing?
You awake, son?
Yeah, I'm awake.
It's a good thing we weren't serving drinks in the green room, isn't
Mark almost put me to sleep.
it?
I don't know how I got the short straw and had to follow him.
Well, we saved the best for last. So for those out here that do not know you, and that's going to be few, just introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself, the equipment you use, the type of hunting you like best, and what's going on, and a few treasure stories.
I started probably 20 years ago in Maryland. I worked and grew up in Maryland, out in between Baltimore and D.C. Originally started, to get out of get the stress out of the rat race. High stress corporate job. Relieve some stress in the evenings and on the weekend. As a kid, I always used to run through the woods and always into treasure and digging bottles and all and anything. So one weekend, me and my wife were walking around the neighborhood, and the neighbor had a detector for sale in a yard sale. So I ended up getting a White's DFX from them. And I started with that thing and read online and did the tutorials and learned how to use that thing. And I started at a park by my house. And it's one of those that people talk about nowadays where they find this virgin land. Well, that park I took over a couple months, I took about 350 coins and, 3 or 4 rings, some jewelry out of there. And I said, well, this ain't too bad. I could probably pay for this detector pretty quick. So I started out with that and I used that for a while and it killed it with the coins. Yeah, but I wanted to get into being able to hunt in the rain and to the water. So I was finding so much good stuff and relics that my buddies at work, they all wanted to get in on it. So we bought 3 AT Pros at the same time. So we got a package deal to give us a good deal and got 3 AT Pros. And that was great because you get to hunt with your buddies all the time, all the finds. And even if I didn't find anything, it was great when they found something. We found old guns. We found all kinds of stuff. Then I was getting ready to move down to Florida when my wife retired. So I figured I better get a water machine. I graduated to Excalibur 2 for water hunting. And now for my dirt digging, I have a XB Deus. So I bought that specifically for the Scotland hunt I was supposed to take, but that got canceled because of COVID. And then ended up getting lucky and jumping on your England trip with you coming up next week. So I'm pretty excited about that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah, so, I do some water hunting down here in Venice, Florida now. But my heart's with dirt digging. Back home, there's a lot of history there. I've been lucky to have some good places there, friends that have houses, and some of the I like to help newer people. Like Crystal was saying, I got together with her when she first started here, and went out with her a few times. I like helping new people get started, and don't get discouraged because two of the best properties I probably ever had were properties that were maybe 10 yards by 10 yards, a small square front yard. Mm-hmm. And one of them, I did some good deeds for a lady, and she said, and then just talking to her, and she said, sure, you can metal detect it. Well, out of a 10-yard square, I found like 40 silver coins. I found a general services button, some 3-ring bullets. It turned out to be a really good spot. So another spot, my buddy at work, he said, come on over and do my mom's yard. And she had a little postage, post stamp yard. And I like to find stuff that relates to the homeowners, some history. Because as I get older, I wasn't interested in history as a kid. But as I get older, when you find these things, you have to look everything up and figure out what it was.
Yeah.
I started digging their yard, and I found this 1899. It's a Philippine insurrection war medal. It's a service medal. It's a service medal for somebody that would have been in the Philippine insurrection. And their property was built by their grandfather, and he never served in that war, so they didn't know where it came from. So I tried to give it to them, but they wouldn't take it. But one of the other things that I found in the yard, I found a hole that had a handful of silver coins, but I also found a handful of jacks in there and some dice. So when I dug them all up, and there was also some marbles in the hole, and I gave them to my buddy, and he showed them to his mom. He said, your father, who was deceased, he said as a child, where he grew up in that house, used to bet his friends out in the yard, and they used to play jacks and bet their coins and bet each other for money out there in the yard. So that was kind of cool. And when you start telling them stories, they start crying, and so I like giving families stuff back to them like that.
Yeah, that makes you feel good.
Oh yeah, I like doing that. I like I like ring finding for people. Giving stuff back. I like finding weird stuff like the skeleton keys, for some reason, stuff like that. I was lucky enough to be in an older area up there. So, large cents you'll find, old silver coins. Just, down here, most of Florida's not that old. My town's 1926, so you might find a Model T hubcap once in a while, but for the most part, you're not finding a lot of the old stuff.
Yeah,
So
nothing real old.
yeah, but I get into other things, So since where I'm at in Venice, it's the shark's tooth capital of the world. So I get in and I do a little shark's tooth hunting. So find some megalodons.
That's a big shark.
So yeah, and this is a good sized tooth, but that's something that you can find just walking down the beach.
Yeah.
So we've got about 10,000 shark's teeth up in the bowl we just find walking on the beach. And started diving last year, so I'll be diving this year, trying to find some megs out there. So I get into a little bit of everything.
So what are you looking forward to over in England?
Anything. I mean, I wouldn't mind finding a gold stater, some old Roman coins, just being able to see the old areas, see the castles. Never been overseas yet, so I think it's going to be a great trip.
Oh, it's going to be a good trip. There's a lot of stuff that we've got 2,200 acres that has not been hunted for over a year, and have been freshly plowed, and some of it is virgin territory, as I understand it. It's never been hunted, and around the area we're going, that was the Roman capital of England back when the Romans were there. And so it's really old, and we're liable to find hobnails and a lot of Roman coins. I'm looking for hammereds and fibulas and gold staters, and you just never know what you're going to find over there. It's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be long days, but it's mostly for y'all young guys that can handle that. As old galoots like me, we'll probably fade fast, but I think it's going to be a really good time. It's going to be a small group, so I think we're going to have a real good time. We got to jump through a lot of hoops to go, but you got to figure when would be the next time you might get a chance like this.
Yep. Some people never get a chance, so I figured let's take the chance when I go. I told Mark Hoover when I met him in person at Florida Hunt 8, I said, hey, you like to travel and just pick up and go. I got an RV. I think he thinks I was joking. I said, let's get in the RV and just do a cross-country trip. We'll go dig. So sure. I think he thought I was joking, but I'm up for any type of an adventure.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. I would like to go up to the Northeast. There's a lot of old for us, old history, and maybe up in the Dakotas and stuff like that, because there's still going to be Indian artifacts and the old buffalo hunter artifacts, and you get up in Wyoming, some of the first settlers from the cattle drives, and before that, and the mountain men and stuff. So it's always good stuff to find.
Yeah, it's funny now that I go back. When I go back now that I'm into it, metal tech, and I go back for a wedding or. My wife's grandmother just turned 105, so we went back for her birthday party. So when I ride down places and I see a house, a 1820s house or something, my head turns like, whoa, how did I ever miss that? I used to drive by that every day. Now I wish that I was still back there so I could do some door knocking and get a chance to do some of these. But work gets in the way, so you only have so much time to be able to play. So
yep, that's actually true. And and I've said it for these people out there, their viewers, y'all need to come on and tell your treasure tales. It's not about what you find necessarily. It's about some of the friendships you make. There's stories there. How it makes you feel. When you're preparing for a hunt, like my good friend John David and Mumbles Man and me, we tease him mercilessly, I guess is the word, but he loves the preparation, and we tease him all the time. 3 weeks ahead of time, call him and say, John, you got your stuff packed yet? Yeah. And he's going over his machines and all that, but that's part of it for him.
Yeah.
And
researching a good spot.
Yep.
Finally finding a good spot, and then showing up, and you get there and you hit that virgin spot that nobody's hit before, and it's great because you get to go to town. When me and Crystal first got together, I found a school that was an old field next to a school that's right close to town here, and I went over there one day and I was killing it. So when I started talking to her, I said, you know what, I'm going to save this for her. I'm going to wait till she can go, and I'll take her over there so she can, have a positive experience and start finding some goodies. So we did that, and we went back there, 3 or 4 times, and I took 300 coins out of that little field, just one soccer field. It's amazing, and nothing old. I mean, 1970s and newer, but we took a couple rings out of there and found some stuff. But you get a positive experience. Her getting started like that, and look at her face now. She's in love with the sport.
Oh, yeah.
So it's great. It's great helping new people, and with COVID, I think there are a lot more people out there, that need a little help getting started.
Yep, I think so. And that's why, everybody on here will help people as much as they can and just have a good time. And that's
Yep.
what it's all about. So, Dan, I want to thank you very much for stopping by with us tonight and chilling in the green room for as long as you did. But we're looking forward to having a really good time in England. Me and the Mumbles Man. And I need to get Mumbles Man on here so we can tell everybody how he gives me the mumbles. But we'll have a real good time in England, and it's going to be here before you know it. We got about another week is all.
Yep.
A week, maybe in a couple days. So we're getting ready. And John David, yes, we are packing right now. We're getting stuff ready. So Dan, thanks so much for stopping by with us tonight. Tell your wife we said hello, and we will be seeing you soon.
Yep, and I'm in for that the Treasure Coast trip. We're in.
Yep.
So
That'll be good. We're going to be good. We're going to have more fun than anybody should be allowed to. So we'll talk at you soon.
All righty. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. So there we have it, folks. That's our Treasure Tales show for this week. I know we ran over a little bit, but I think the stories are worth it, So this coming Monday night, this is the Labor Day weekend. I guess it's the last big weekend of the beach year, so to speak, for beachgoers. On the 6th, Carrie Balbarona, the queen of research, is going to be in the house, and she's going to be talking to us about how-tos and how you go about it and why you should do it this way or that way, and about researching for permissions to metal detect. So this is definitely a show that you want to be here for. And you can catch it on the Treasure Talk Facebook, Treasure Talk YouTube, and you can also catch it on, now we are going on to the Blue Spades Society on Facebook. So, excuse me. So that's kind of what's going on. And then the week after that, next week there will be a Treasure Tales on Thursday night. And let's see if I got it written down here, who's going to be here. We'll have a number of good guests then, but I'll post it and you can check it out. But then remember, on the 16th and the 23rd, there will not be any Treasure Tales. I will be in England, if I test negative, that is. So if you see Treasure Tales come on, I tested positive. Yikes. But anyway, we're going to be there in England, so there won't be no Treasure Tales on the 16th and the 23rd. Now, the 13th and the 20th on Treasure Talk, Phil will be handling that. He'll be flying solo. He'll have Jocelyn with him, so and you'll be right there on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you tune in for that. On the 13th, it'll be Jimmy Crossbones. That's going to be a really good show. And but I'll be in the air, so I won't be there. But y'all won't, y'all don't need me there. And then on the 20th, he's going to have Steve Moore and Vaughn Garrett. So if you ever want to know anything about the Garrett family, that'd be the show to ask them, because Vaughn Garrett will be in the house. And Phil will be doing an interview with Steve Moore and Vaughn Garrett, so that's going to be a good show as well. And then after that, I'll be back. Just like the Terminator, I'll be back. So that being said, I'm very, very happy that all of y'all joined. And I hope you had a good time tonight, and that you enjoyed the stories and you kind of see what Treasure Tales is all about. And I'm really looking forward to a whole bunch of y'all getting up with me. You can Facebook Messenger me, email me at treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. Let me know you want to be on. We'll call and get you scheduled. And as you've seen, you don't have to have no great, fantastic pirate horde find. It's what the hobby means to you and the friends you made. And we're going to have some people on that will tell you some adversities that they've had, and they still persevere and get out there and hunt for treasure, because it's that kind of thing that makes you feel good and the people you meet. So with that being said, everybody, I want to thank you for stopping by, and happy hunting and dig deeper.